Well, today I want to talk about the demonization of cholesterol and saturated fat by the medical profession and a company called Procter & Gamble. And it all started in 1901 when the German Navy went to a professor of chemistry at the University of Berlin, Germany, said, look, we need a synthetic, smokeless diesel engine lubricant for German submarines. By 1904, Professor Norman had accomplished that. After the First World War, they didn't need it anymore, so he sold his patent to a British soap manufacturing company. They couldn't sell the soap, nice soap, but they couldn't sell it because everybody was making their own soap. So they sold the patent for the soap to Procter & Gamble in the United States, and they made a very good soap out of it, but they couldn't sell it because everybody's making their own soap. I can remember in the early 1940s, I'm a little kid with my grandma and my mom making soap. And then by 1952, Procter & Gamble decided they were going to try making a cooking shortening of this synthetic diesel lubricant for German submarines. You can make a cooking shortening out of it in a can to replace sort of the metal can on the back of the stove with the bacon drippings and the butter and the cream and the lard that Grandma had been using for many generations, actually. And they couldn't sell it. And so they went to an advertising firm by the name of Ancel Keyes, head of the Department of Medicine at the medical school at the University of Minnesota. And the advertising firm says, look, you got to demonize what Grandma's been doing. It says it's going to kill her kids. And then you have to give them a good place to go. And so to make a long story short, they did analyses of cream, butter, lard, and eggs, and they found that there was saturated fat and cholesterol. So they began to demonize that, and they were getting profitable with this Crisco is the name of the product, and cooking shortening. But it wasn't magic. It wasn't taking over the world like they wanted it to. And so they had forgotten the nice place to go when they started demonizing the cholesterol and saturated fat. So they came up with a Mediterranean diet, and Ancel Keyes from the medical school there in Minnesota came up with a Mediterranean diet looking at 85 guys from the Isle of Crete. That's how he came up with the Mediterranean diet. And again, to make a long story short, since that time, of course, the pharmaceutical industry has gone crazy. They just love it because the cooking shortening like Crisco and cooking oils and mayonnaise and margarines replacing butter and egg beaters and so forth lowered the cholesterol. And what happened was you got low T, ED, erectile dysfunction, menopause, and they came out, of course, with Cialis and Viagra and Premarin. It's kind of an estrogen substitute from pregnant mare's urine. And then they said, well, people are just responding to this. They just love all these drugs. Let's come up with a drug to lower cholesterol in the blood. So they came up with a class of drugs called statin drugs, and what they got out of that was Alzheimer's disease. I'm going to talk about that in a sec. But I want to remind you to get a hold of the book, the CD, the DVD, Dead Doctors Don't Lie. Then you want to get a hold of the book, Epigenetics, The Death of the Genetic Theory of Disease Transmission. There is a DVD that goes along with that, so Somebody Needs to Go to Jail. And the CD that goes along with Epigenetics is called Public Enemy Number 1. And then the book, Let's Play Doctor. What you're going to learn is that congestive heart failure is not caused by cholesterol and saturated fat. It's caused by deficiency of a single vitamin. We've known that for 300 years. Cardiomyopathy heart disease, I've done 1,700 autopsies on kids under the age 10 that died of that one. Sudden heart death, like athletes dying of sudden heart death, and people do hard physical work dying of sudden heart death, is a deficiency of a single mineral. And then you have coronary arteries disease, atherosclerosis. Arteriosclerosis has nothing to do with cholesterol and saturated fat. It's actually the inside lining of the artery reacting to inflammation from fried foods, processed meats, oils, gluten, and so forth. And it has nothing to do with cholesterol and saturated fat. And then, of course, there's the thrombosis, coronary thrombosis, where you get a blood clot in the coronary artery. That's one of my lawsuits against the FDA in which I prevailed. And we teach people how to supplement properly with omega-3s in the proper ratios with omega-6s and 9s. And omega-3 deficiency and ratio problems is what causes thrombosis, coronary thrombosis in heart arteries, thrombotic stroke, so forth in the brain. And so, again, get a hold of the book, CD and DVD, Dead Doctors Don't Lie. And the epigenetics book is Death of the Genetic Theory of Disease Transmission. The DVD is Somebody Needs to Go to Jail. The CD is Public Enemy Number 1. And then the book, Let's Play Doctor. And you're going to learn how to use 90 essential nutrients, 16 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 3 fatty acids. And if there's high blood pressure involved, we have secret sauces that go along with that. And you'll be amazed what you can do yourself without bypass surgery, without stents being installed, without heart transplants. It's amazing what you can do just by changing your diet, getting off all the bad stuff, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no gluten, and supplementing with the 90 essential nutrients, 16 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 3 fatty acids. And we can do a much better job than the medical profession. Remember, they're the number one and the number 3 cause of death in America. Number 1 is their proactive treatments that everybody agrees is good, but it kills, injures, and infects 15 million Americans every year. Number 3 cause of death is just simple mistakes. That's 251,000 are killed each year by simple mistakes in America. I mean, what industry could stay in business by accidentally killing their customers 251,000 a year? That's 688 per day. And they get a walk. Nobody gets an OSHA ticket. It goes on and on and on. Then there's 2 million infections every year in hospitals. The doctors don't wash their hands if they go potty. 90,000 die every year. What if Iran or North Korea were to kill 90,000 Americans with a biological weapon? It'd be war. There's one trade that does in their workplace every year. Nothing happens. Take care of yourself. Save your kids. Save yourself. Get a hold of the books, Dead Doctors Don't Lie, Epigenetics, and Let's Play Doctor. Let's go to work and save America together. And we'll be back with Dead Doctors Don't Lie after these messages. Okay, Doug, good. What pearls of wisdom do you have for us today?
Well, you have been vindicated once again, as I've got a Fox News story here, headlined, "People who improve their diets reduce diabetes risk." And they say adopting a healthier diet may lower type 2 diabetes risk over time, while worsening diet is often accompanied with an increased risk, according to a new study that came out of Harvard. Lead author is Sylvia H. Lay, and she's of the Brigham and Women's Hospital as well as Harvard Medical School. And she says, although recent public health recommendations have increasingly focused on advocating overall diet quality improvement, evidence has been limited on whether changing overall diet in adulthood has a long-term preventative impact on diabetes prevention in the general population. So what they did was they analyzed data of more than 124,000 adults who did not have diabetes at the start of this large long-term study, which people were observed every 4 years for over 20 years. And by the end of the study, 9,300 plus cases of type 2 diabetes during the study. And they say when dietary quality scores declined more than 10% between the 4-year surveys, diabetes risk went up by about 34%, researchers found. However, improving diet quality by the same amount led to a 16% decrease in diabetes risk. And according to Lay, they said the healthier diet included higher intakes of vegetables, fruits, whole grains, nuts, and legumes, and lower intakes of processed meat, sugar-sweetened beverages, fruit juice, trans fats, sodium, as well as sodium, and the moderate use of alcohol. According to Lay, cumulative scientific evidence has supported that improving and maintaining overall quality of healthful diet is beneficial for the long-term chronic disease prevention. They say improving diet was associated with decreased risk in diabetes, and regardless how a person ate at the start of the study or how much excess weight they carried, over time losing weight explains some but not all of the change in the diabetes risk. This was all published in Diabetes Cares. So there you go, Doc, vindicated once again, because you've been talking about that for as long as I've known you.
Yeah, thank you. And of course, there's 2 pieces, of course, to avoiding diabetes and reversing and ending diabetes. Number 1, you have to appreciate that type 2 diabetes is not genetic, as the medical profession would have you believe. Type 2 diabetes makes up 98% of the diabetic population, and it's really a deficiency of a single mineral. We've known it for 85 years. And so the first thing you have to do is get rid of all the bad stuff out of your diet, which includes carbohydrates and sugars, natural and processed, all forms of sugar, inflammatory and actually damaged cell walls, which also contributes to diabetes. And also, when you raise sugar, if you don't have that one mineral, your body can't handle it. And so your blood sugar goes up, which is a symptom. It's not the disease itself. The deficiency is the disease. And then, of course, by supplementing properly with the 90 essential nutrients, a little bit of extra of the secret sauce, you actually can support healthy blood sugar and healthy metabolism of carbohydrates and sugars at the cellular level. And so it's kind of a lifestyle change as well as a supplement program. And the reason why we have an epidemic, this is a cover article in Time magazine, the coming epidemic of diabetes in America. And that's because this nutrient is missing, this mineral that's missing is no longer found in optimal amounts in our food. And so it is an epidemic of diabetes. We're looking at almost a third of Americans have type 2 diabetes. When you look at the big study that just came out from UCLA, University of California, Los Angeles, they said that 55% of adults in California, 55% of adults in California, Doug, either have prediabetes or type 2 diabetes. And if we don't supplement our kids and change their diets, we will be burying them. You'll be standing a great side burying your kids. So get them on the 90 essential nutrients, 16 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids. Get a hold of that book called Hell's Kitchen. It also discusses the type 2 diabetes and the metabolic syndrome, and that will teach everybody what to do. We'll be back with Dead Doctors Don't Lie for these messages. Okay, Doug, let's go to callers.
All right, let's head to Canada. And Marie, you're on with Dr. Wallach.
Hello, Marie, you're on the air.
Oh, thanks.
Hi.
I thought maybe you forgot.
Nope.
I know somebody who's got bipolar. They're giving her lithium. Have you heard of that?
Oh, yes.
Okay. She's getting...
How old is she? How much does she weigh?
I don't know that. I don't know.
Have you met this person?
Pardon?
Have you met this person?
Yeah.
Oh, is she bigger than you or smaller than you?
Bigger.
How much do you weigh?
She's losing weight now.
I don't care. That's not the answer to the question. How much do you weigh?
I'm 110.
110? Okay.
Yeah.
Then she's 120, 130, 150, somewhere in there. So any brain disease, whether it's ADD, ADHD, autism, anxiety attacks, panic attacks, things like depression, manic depression, bipolar disease, which is in civilian clothes when you're in military uniform and you have bipolar, it's called PTSD. And then, of course, there's psychoses and schizophrenia. All these things are caused by nutritional deficiencies of the brain. And, of course, the doctors, the psychiatrists and psychologists love to give antidepressant medication. One of the big side effects of antidepressant medication is suicide. And that's why so many of these soldiers coming back from the war zone commit suicide, because they're given these drugs that the side effect is suicide. Somebody needs to go to jail there. Well, lithium is a natural substance. It's actually an essential mineral. It's one of the 60 essential minerals. And basically, there's, the brain requires all 90 essential nutrients, 16 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 3 fatty acids, just like your liver and your kidneys and your heart and your muscles and your bones and your eyes. Everything needs 90 essential nutrients. So let's say 125 to 150 pounds, I'd have this lady get rid of all the bad stuff out of her diet, which contributes to these deficiencies, makes them worse when you have these bad foods. No fried foods. She can't have any fried foods. Absolutely no processed meats with nitrates and nitrites. There's no deli slices, sandwich meat, sausage, ham, bacon, bologna, salami, pastrami, pepperoni, jerky, corned beef. Okay, and what program would you put Marie's friend on here, Charmaine?
I would put her on a gluten-free diet, definitely, and I would get her on a healthy brain and heart pack, and I would add the synaptive to it and the de-stress.
Okay. Yeah, that covers a lot of territory because the deficiencies of those nutrients can cause a wide variety of clinical symptoms of the brain and behavior. And so she always got it right. One healthy brain and heart pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. And then, of course, the synaptive is the raw materials for your cells to make the neurotransmitters so they can talk to each other. And the de-stress capsules, well, that's one of my favorites. 3 of those twice a day per 100 pounds of body weight. No sugar, natural or processed, and watch what happens. We'll be back with Dead Doctors Don't Lie for these messages.
Let's head to Kansas. And Bertie, you're on with Dr. Wallach.
Well, Bertie, you're on the air.
How you doing, Dr. Wallach?
Okay, how can we help you?
I have 2 questions, one for my friend and one for myself. I have a lump in my left breast, and my head itches all the time. My hair is thinning, and I have high blood pressure. Her question is that she has left ventricular non-compaction syndrome.
Okay, wait a minute. I don't want to mix her stuff up with your stuff, okay?
Okay.
So you got a lump in your left breast. How long have you had that?
For about a year.
Okay, have you been to a doctor about that?
Yes, sir.
And what did they say you got?
They didn't know what it was.
And what did they recommend?
They didn't. They recommended surgery or something else.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of vitamins.
Well, certainly you can get a high-resolution ultrasound to see if it's a cyst.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello?
Dear, we can hear you.
Okay. I'm still here.
Okay. Yeah, you can. I can hear you. Okay. So you've gone too long, a year, without having some kind of look at it, and I would start with something non-invasive. Okay, high-resolution ultrasound, and that'll tell you if it's a cyst or a benign fatty tumor, something like that. If it's suspicious of a cancer, you can take the radiology and the lab work to another doctor and have them look at it, get another opinion, or you can have a lumpectomy done. When you say you have a lump in your breast, is it the size of a pea, the size of an orange, the size of a grapefruit? How big is this lump?
It's about the size of a pea.
Okay. Yeah. And so has it grown in a year, or has it just remained the same size?
It's remained the same size.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that's highly suspicious of a cyst, but I'd still get a high-resolution ultrasound to find out, because we don't want to be giving you estrogen things if you have a cancer that's sensitive to estrogen, okay? So that's very important to find that out. Okay, now, what do you weigh, Bertie?
I weigh 119 pounds.
Do you have any other issues other than high blood pressure?
Just my
arthritis?
Hair and no, I don't.
Itchy skin?
Itchy head.
Okay, did you have any asthma as a kid?
No. No, sir.
Okay. Do you have any bowel problems? Crohn's disease, colitis, irritable bowel syndrome?
Mm-mm.
Okay, well, hang on. We'll be back, and we'll give you some suggestions after these messages. Okay, Doug, let's go right back to Kansas and Bertie. Okay, Char, what would you do for Bertie here just to support her immune system, because we don't know quite yet what that lump is in her breast, size of a pea, hasn't grown in a year. We do know she has high blood pressure, she has itchy skin, and thinning hair. What would you say is going on here?
I would say she probably might have a gluten intolerance, and she would get on a gluten-free diet. And I would get her on a healthy brain and heart pack, and I'd give her the Ocean's Gold.
For the sea cucumber.
Yeah, for the sea cucumber, and basically.
What would you do? What would you do for the high blood pressure?
I give her the Ultimate Daily Classic and the Niacin Plus.
Yeah, and basically what you do here, Bertie, you take your blood pressure 3 or 4 times a week, keep in a logbook. If you're on medication for it, you can solely reduce your medication based on your blood pressure. If you're concerned about doing that yourself, you can go to your doctor frequently and have him reduce your medication for you. And like Char says, when you have itchy skin, oftentimes that will reflect a deficiency of a certain class of nutrients, which is caused almost always, even if you're supplementing with them, by a gluten intolerance, because they're big, clumsy nutrients, very difficult to absorb under ideal circumstances. And one of the symptoms is eczema, dermatitis, psoriasis, and itchy skin. And then the thinning hair can be a deficiency of many nutrients, because your scalp, your skin, requires the nutrients to make healthy skin, and skin glands and hair. What would you do to support healthy hair growth here, Char?
Get her the hair, skin, and nails.
Hair, skin, and nails, yeah. And 119 pounds, you can just get yourself 1 bottle in a month, take 3 of those a day, 1 at breakfast, 1 at lunch, 1 at dinner. And that's going to give you enough nutrients to support healthy hair regrowth, okay? And also, by taking that 1 Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, it actually has those nutrients in it, which is missing when you get the itchy skin and eczema and dermatitis and so forth. And then call us every couple of weeks, Bertie, and let us know. And then I apologize. we can't let you have a second question because we have too many people in line, so call us next week with the other question. Okay, Doug, let's go to callers.
Let's head to Minnesota. And Greg, you're on with Dr. Wallach.
Greg, you're on the air.
Doc, finally got a hold of you. I got so many questions. I got so many questions. I'm gonna have to call you several times.
So pick the most important one first.
Well, there isn't. There's a bunch of little ones. First, I heard of longevity on InfoWars, and I heard you on Coast to Coast.
Mm-hmm.
I found the link for Dead Doctors. I've also listened to Pharmacist Ben Fuchs and Dr. Peter Glidden. I've read the book.
Aren't they
Dead Doctors Don't Lie.
great speakers? Yeah, great speakers.
I think I got a good idea what's wrong. I got a quick testimony for you. 20 years ago, my friend's father had acid reflux, or whatever you want to call it. He had heartburn, and he was taking antacids. He went to his doctor. His doctor said, you'll be okay. Just keep taking the antacids. Well, his digestive system shut down. His organs shut down, and he went from 170 pounds down to 85 pounds, and he died. And thank you, American Medical Association.
Wow, that's a negative testimony. Woo.
Well, it's negative, but it reinforces.
Reinforces what we're saying, because your friend's father was one of the statistics, horrible statistics. And this is why we have to take over, because the medical system has not actually done anything to solve these problems. Okay. Now, do you have a question for yourself?
Yes. I'll give you a quick background.
Well, got to be quick. Got to be quick.
6 years old, my parents said I blew up overnight. I was a fat kid all my life. At 10, I developed breasts. I don't know it because I'm fat. At 15, there was some lactation. At 18, I take a physical for a job. I'm diagnosed with a hormone imbalance. I pronounced breast, gynecomastia. Endocrinologist took CAT scans, thought there was a tumor on the pituitary gland, but the CAT scans weren't as good now as they were back then. This was in the early 80s. So I had a mastectomy, and I got put on testosterone. That was it. Late 20s, I get numbness in my...
Okay, what do you weigh now? What do you weigh now, Greg?
415.
Okay, and how tall are you, sir?
5'9", maybe less. I used to be 5'9.5".
Okay. Yeah, at 5'9", I'd like to see you weigh 180, something like that, maybe 175, 180. And so we actually need to have you lose maybe 250 pounds, okay? And so, you said you have some numbness. Is it in your feet or your hands? Where's this numbness in?
The numbness was in my hands, like when I'd wake up at night and I'd be like fell asleep, kind of pain.
Okay. Do you have any history? Okay, do you have any history of high blood pressure, diabetes?
No.
Okay, what about skin problems? Eczema, dermatitis, psoriasis?
No.
Okay. Any bowel problems? Irritable bowel syndrome, diverticulitis, constipation, diarrhea?
Normal constipation and diarrhea, like if you get food poisoning or had too much cheese or something like that. But other than that,
so you kind of alternate between constipation and diarrhea. Okay, so hang on here. Okay, Shar, what's his basic problem?
He's got a gluten intolerance.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. As a kid, it shows up as a kid. If you have any brothers and sisters, you need to notify them. If your mom's still alive, you need to notify her. She and her siblings have to get gluten-free. None of the bad stuff, no fried food, no processed meats, no oils, no gluten. And what would you do for a big guy like Greg here, Charmaine? Remember, he's a male, but he had gynecomastia, which is breast formation, all right? So there's other things going on there. Pituitary problem. How many nutrients does pituitary need, Char?
All 90.
All 90, very good. So what would you give Greg to deal with his history of feminization, pituitary problems, and the weight?
Okay, ideally, in my opinion, he should have 4 healthy brain and heart packs. And then he needs also the Ultimate Daily Classic and the Niacin Plus. And then I would give him the Zera test for the other problems.
Yeah,
and I'd give him the ASAP for the weight.
Okay, now, what would you give him for raw materials for his testicles to make hormones?
Eggs.
Eggs, you got it. But Char's exactly correct. And if this is a financial issue, you can cut everything in half, and it'll just take longer to solve the problems. Now, the Zera test supports proper function of the testicles, and including production of testosterone. Again, 10, 12 eggs a day. I'd eat steamed vegetables and eggs, and steamed vegetables and eggs, and steamed vegetables and eggs. That's kind of the direction I would go there. What would you do to help him methodically lose the weight?
I give him the ASAP.
ASAP, yeah. Get yourself 2 bottles of the ASAP. They're dropper bottles. Put a dropper full under your tongue twice before each meal. That's a dropper full, not a drop, but a dropper full under your tongue 30 minutes for each meal. A second dropper full 15 minutes for each meal. And in a couple of days a week, you'll start losing half a pound to 2 pounds a day. As long as you stay on the 90 essential nutrients appropriate for your body weight, you will not gain weight back. And of course, you take all the raw materials for your testicle to make testosterone. And I'd even throw in the HGH. Take 6 of those twice a day. That's 2 bottles a month. That's what I do. And I weigh 150 to make my pituitary happy. That's HGH. 6 at breakfast, 6 at dinner. Take 2 bottles a month to throw that in. We'll be back after these messages. We're back with Dead Doctors Don't Lie on the ZBS Radio Network. Dr. Joel Wallach here for Youngevity, 9 for Life Crusade. And Doug, let's go to callers.
Let's head to Tampa, Florida. And Richard, you're on with Dr. Wallach.
Well, Richard, you're on the air.
Yes, Dr. Wallach. I am 60 years old, 5'7", 200 pounds. About 4 years ago, I suffered a stroke. I have my optic nerve in my right eye was affected, and I'm also currently stage 3 kidney disease. And the 2 questions I quickly have is there any product that you have that passes through the brain-blood barrier? And the second one is, would it be safe for me to go on the ketogenics diet to lose weight because of the protein content?
Yes. Okay. Now, I'm assuming you're asking about the protein because you have some protein in your urine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. And you're losing protein through your urine, which means you need more protein. Otherwise, if you just lose a lot of protein, you don't take any in, you're going to lose weight, you lose muscle mass and all that kind of stuff. So you need protein to replace what you're losing through the urine. Do you know what your creatinine levels are?
No, but I know my, I don't know if this matters, my GFR is like 36.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And have they started talking to you about dialysis yet?
No. The doctor that I go to feels that we know that it's caused by uncontrolled blood pressure and that it's not probably going to...
So you have high blood pressure?
Yes, sir.
And see, the high blood pressure can be caused by the kidney disease. Okay? It could go either way. So basically, and I'm assuming this was a blood clot type of stroke?
I think it was more of a rupture. Well, I don't know, because the optic nerve, they said there was like a rupture in that.
Sure. Okay. Okay, Sharp, what would you do for a 200-pound guy? He wants to lose a little bit of weight. He has kidney failure, not on dialysis yet, and he does have some residual damage to the blood supply through his optic nerve.
Okay, what I would do is get him on 2 healthy brain and heart packs, and then I would add to that Ultimate Daily Classic and the Niacin Plus.
And
then for the weight loss, I would give him the ASAP. And as far as the diet goes, and he's got eye problem, I'd give him the Occutive for his eyes.
There you go. Okay, so Richard, as Shar said, you need to get rid of all the bad stuff, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no gluten, and you also want to take 2 healthy brain and heart packs a month. That's going to support just your basic physiology. These nutrients are not in our food anymore. That's why we have these problems, including the weight gain. And then Char's exactly correct. 2 healthy brain and heart packs, which again support just healthy metabolism. You want to throw in, I'd go ahead with 3 bottles a month of the Ultimate Daily Classics. Take 3 of those, or 3 or 4, 3 times a day, 3 or 4 at breakfast, 3 or 4 at lunch, 3 or 4 at dinner time. And they're designed to support and promote healthy blood pressure, and they're designed to support and promote healthy blood flow to obstructed arteries. When you have kidney failure, almost always there's nothing wrong with the kidney, but the blood supply is shut off. The little arteries, the afferent arteries carrying the blood into the kidneys for filtering are plugged, can't get the blood into the kidneys. And so this is what the ultimate daily classic is designed for, to support healthy blood pressure and also to help support healthy blood flow through the obstructed arteries. The ultimate cardio sticks, I'd go ahead and take 2 of those a day. That'll be 2 boxes a month. There's 1 at breakfast, 1 at dinner time. And also, as Shar said, the Ultimate Niacin Plus. And not only does it help support healthy blood flow and healthy blood pressure, but it also has the plus part is nattokinase. What is nattokinase? What does that enzyme do, Charmaine?
It dissolves blood clots.
Yeah, it's legendary for dissolving blood clots. I mean, if I worked in a hospital emergency room, I'd carry around a bottle of that stuff, and everybody that came in there that showed any remote signs of a stroke or a heart attack or anything like that, or pulmonary embolism, I'd give them a shot of the nattokinase right there, and instead of waiting in the room for a half hour and having all your tissues die because you have plugged blood supply. But give us a call every couple of weeks. Let us know what your blood pressure is. Call us every time you get some blood work, and we need to know your creatinine levels and your GFR levels, and we'll see which way they're going, and we'll walk you through this. And of course, as Shar said, the ASAP for the weight loss. Put a dropper full under your tongue, turn this for each meal, and you should be able to lose a half a pound to 2 pounds a day healthfully, and you'll never gain it back as long as you stay on your 90 essential nutrients. Thank you, Shar. Super job as usual. Thank you so much, Doug and Sam. Superlative job. Great testimonies and questions today. God bless each and every one of you. God bless our troops. God bless our Navy SEALs, and God bless America.